Okay, hello everyone, welcome back. So, in our today's session, we are going to see how we can identify the browser elements in WebDriverIO. Now, identifying the locators are very much important part in any automation testing framework or tools that we are using, because that's how the elements can be uniquely identified, and then we can have some action on that. The action could be you perform the click event or you enter something, and then also to test that particular functionality you need to get the data from that particular web element, either the text or the position or like any kind of behavior of the browser actions that we need to validate again. So it is very important to identify those locators, and every tool and every framework has its own way of identifying the locators. For an instance, we know, right, this WebDriverIO is a wrapper on top of your Selenium, and we know Selenium is having nearly 5 or 6 different types of locator. It's kind of a syntaxes, but then if you see at the end, it is nothing but the reading the HTML DOM, right? So in that, actually, like we have CSS Selector, we have XPATH, ID, class name. All these things are kind of the locator strategies, and fortunately the WebDriverIO also supports all these kinds of your locators, but in a different way. So we will be understanding what are the Selenium locators that the WebDriverIO is supporting, and also if WebDriverIO has its own way of, because it's a wrapper, right? So some kind of added functionalities we might get from the WebDriverIO. So that is what today we are going to see. Okay, so as you can see, now let's see what is the syntax actually to identify the locators. So there are two short form notations. One is actually your dollar. Dollar is nothing but to identify the single element, and then there is another one that is called as $2, which is the find elements actually. So this is your single element. Okay, single element, and this would be actually to identify multiple elements. So this is what we need to first remember. So this is nothing but, we will see in more details in our upcoming sessions. So $$ is nothing but browser dot find elements. Actually, you can see find elements, and if it is only $, then it is a find element. So that is what we need to first keep it in mind. Okay, so now that is why if you see, this is a getter method, and which is having single $, it means that it is used to identify a single element. Now to understand what are the different available your locators are there, so let me pull the documentation actually, so you can see that it is the WebDriverIO documentation on the selectors. They are using the CSS query selector, link text, partial link text, element with set in text, so that is a visible text, and then there are tag name attribute, XPath, CSS selector. So all these kind of things are these WebDriverIO is supporting. So we will see one by one all these kind of locators now. Okay, so for this, let me just go back to my one of the test case. So here if you see, the one that we were getting out of the box, the page object model is the example.e2e.ts, but to make it simplified, I will not be implementing the page object model at this moment. We will be just focusing more into identifying the web elements in different ways. So for this, under this test, I will be creating a new folder, and let me say it as samples. Okay, so here all the WebDriverIO features we will be discussing under this, and here I will be creating a new file. Let's say that selectors.ts. okay, now under this I will be writing a method, actually the describe and it block, and here, so under this I will be mentioning as another one it block. So if you see here, a block kind of structure it is coming. So if you enter, you can see it creates for me, so that every time I don't need to write the entire code lines there. Fine. Now in this, what I'm going to do, I will be first loading a browser actually here. So for this, I will be using a different URL actually for this. So this is the demo application which we are going to see, and if you go to this sign up page, you will see a lot of different browser elements are available. So this is what actually we are going to do today. So let me first pull out the URL, and then the first sentence that I need to write, or the first statement is browser.url, and under this I will be having this particular URL actually. So this is my application under test at this moment. Fine. Now here I'm going to click on a link. Let's say that on the sign up link I need to click actually. Now what should I do? As usual, all the HTML pages are rendered with a DOM structure, right? So let's pull up the DOM structure here. So this is nothing but my DOM structure, and this is a link actually. You can see it is a link. Now how do we really identify a link or an element which is having certain text? This is very important. Let's say that you have couple of buttons are there where there is a text present and you want to click on that button. The same thing, you have couple of links are there. Every link will have a certain text, right? Like here you can see there are like sign up form. It is the visible text which is present inside your a beginning tag and ending tag. The same thing if there is a button, okay, it could be enclosed inside an input tag beginning and an input tag end. So how do we identify that? So we will be resolving the promises by making it as a await, and after that we will be giving a $sign instead of browser.findElement, and inside this I will be specifying something that is containing the text sign off form, because I can say that a tag contains the sign off form, because if I just mention a, then it gives lot of, because this is treated as the tag name. Okay, now in this, if you see, there are a lot of a tags are there in this particular page, so I can't uniquely identify the sign off form, right? So for this I need to specify anything that is containing the sign off form. So there is a syntax from WebDriverIO. What I need to do, something, okay, means something or anything that contains a text or that equals to certain text. So I will make it as blank equal to, and I would say that sign up form. So I will give here sign up, and then I will be giving this one the exact name actually, whatever here it is there. So what this does, this will give me the anything that contains the sign off form, and then what I need to do, I need to perform certain action on that. Let's say that I want to click on this particular link actually here. Okay, so now let's see. Okay, this is because I have not marked it as async. So here this it block, you need to mark it as async before this method, so that the await will be applicable there. And I want to see, right, let's say that this both the lines are clicked very quickly, so I can do some wait actually. So that is nothing but I can use the browser.pause method from WebDriverIO. I can specify certain duration there. The same thing, after this button is clicked or this link, I want to wait for some moment, and then we will be closing our what you call the browser. Now how do I run this? Because if you see, the wdio conf.ts is basically referring to my POM one, right? But I am not going to run that one. I'm going to run my own spec, right? And that is under test and then samples, and under this actually I have kept as, let's say that I'm just removing this one. So it means that under my samples folder, any TS file is there. Let's execute that. Okay, fine. Now how do I run it? So I need to go to my command prompt by pressing the Control Tilt, and then here I need to execute this command npm run wdio. How do I remember this? If you go to this package.json, you see there is a script, that is the keyword is wdio. So when I'm running this npm run wdio, it will execute this particular command, and let's see if it executes or not. Okay, and it finished very quickly actually there. So let's see again. So for this, what I'm going to do here is that maybe I can do one more thing also. I'll make it as await, and here I'll make it as 2 seconds, and let's rerun this and see if it works fine or not. This pause is basically executing or not, we will see. And as you can see, it waited for some time and it closed. So it means that this particular locator worked. So what it is, anything means any element, I would say any element that has text sign off form. This is treated as like this. Let's say that I don't want to do like this. For an instance, this is sign off form and a big link text. Let's say that I want to make it like a partial text. Let's say with sign up only I want to execute that. So what I can do, I can make like this. So Control C, I'll put like this, and here anything that contains, let's say for this, instead of anything, what I can do, I can make it as a star. Star means it contains, equal to means it is equal, like it has to be equal with this particular string. Star sign up, and I don't need to write this form as well. If you think that this text is very unique on that particular screen, then you can make it as a star. So it means that any element that contains, okay, that contains text as sign up. So in that case it will be executing. Let's see if it really executes or not. So I will save this one and let's rerun this. And as you can see, it also executed with contains text also. Fine. So like that actually you have. Now this is actually anything that contains, I said, right? That's why we were keeping blank, no tag name, nothing we were giving. But what I can even do it, for an instance, let's say that I clicked on this link and I want to identify this particular text box actually, let's say. Now here if you see that there is no text actually here added, but if you see this full name, here if you see this full name is there, so I can say equal to full name dot get text or something I can say. But instead of this, let's say that this full name is present in multiple tag names. So what I can do here, so after clicking that, I'm moving to a different page, right? After clicking on the sign up, so what I can say dollar, and here this is label, right? So you can see this is a label tag name, so I'm putting this one, and I will say that equal to, and I would say the name actually. So this name is full name, so I will be entering full name, and here, so this should be inside a single quote or in double quote, whatever you feel you can keep it. Now here what I need to do, I need to get the value. Let's say that I want to get the attribute, because see I can't just click, I can't do anything, right? How do I know if this particular element is identified? One thing is that I can just go like this and I can see that nothing will happen. It will just execute this particular line. If this particular element is identifying properly, it succeeds properly. If not, it will be throwing me error here only. I can see like this, or else I can even do a get attribute also. Get attribute of ID actually. So here if you see there is an ID attribute, right? For this full name text, the ID is label name. Let's see if it prints or not. Get attribute. In my output I will show you that. So this is the way. It means that label which is having a text exactly as full name. The same way I would say you now itself only, I will even can give like this. So let's say star, and in this I can say full. So it means that if the full text is very unique on your screen for the label text, then you can even say it is contains, like here I was giving here, because if I'm not mentioning anything, then it will search for the entire DOM actually, any kind of tag names. But here it will be explicitly searching for the tag names that is having a label as your tag name, and also the text contains as full or exactly full name. So I will be commenting one of that, so that we can get properly. Even you can get this also double, I can show you, because there is no action it is doing. It will just give you whether the attribute is returning properly or not. So let me do one thing here. Even I can print this one also. I can make console.log, and inside this I can even do the same thing. I can even print here as well. So if everything goes good, it will even give me the output of that. So let me quickly run this. And obviously it won't perform anything here, it will just pull out the result from there only. So let's see if this, you can see here label name and label name, and it is passed. Actually it means that it is executing properly. See, this is actually your first this statement's output, and if you see this one is an output from this particular line. That's how you will see the console.log. This get attribute is coming as result. This is the log from directly from the WebDriverIO. This is the output, actual output. Now see, I can identify this particular history element by using this long name actually, or else I can even identify by just s3 and print this text. I'll show you that. So here let me write that. So I can even say await, and I will say $, and here I will enter that tag name. That tag name is history, and I will say .get text. Directly I can use the get text. There is a small difference between get text. Get text will not give you the okay, so there are two things. Get text will give you only this text which is present inside your tag names. But if you are entering something, let's say you entered this QAB box, this will not give you the result in your get text. I will prove it and show you. See, I have entered QAB box and I'm highlighting, or I'm inspecting this one. You see that there is no text came between your input beginning and end tag, because that is not a predefined text from the HTML. This is something you are adding it. That's why you can get this value by using get attribute of value. Okay, so there is a very difference between what you are using here. This is basically, this name or this string is basically in between your beginning and end tag only. Here you can see div beginning, div end, level beginning, level end, but inside these items you cannot give it here. Okay, so that is one difference you want to make sure that. So you cannot identify by using this way a text box where some text is entered. That is a different one. Fine. Now this is actually by using the tag name. Now let me run this, and for time saving I will be commenting this too. Let's see first if by using the history if I can get the text or not. So I will run this real quick, and let's see if it printed or not. And you can see it is coming this particular line which is similar to this line only. So it means that by using tag name also you can identify using tag name, and you can use like your level input whatever, but then it has to be unique. So if you see in this entire HTML DOM, I'll show you by using the selectors hub, and here if I say h3, you can see there is only one element. But let's say that I want to use the div as my tag name, and you see lots of different instances are there, 14 instances are there. So for sure you cannot make an action on that. So your tag name has to be unique to identify here. Okay, so that is how you can use the tag name also. Okay, what else different ways? One is the CSS selector. Okay, so WebDriverIO supports the CSS selector out of the box, and for the CSS selector and XPATH you might have learned in your in your Selenium days. But if you have not like really more into the CSS selector, no need to worry about that. I will be giving a reference, and that reference you can get it the CSS selector and also the XPATH patterns also. So I'll show you this actually. So this is the link which you can use it. I'll post it into the description, and it gives the very basic difference between all kind of actions actually. Like if you are using CSS Selector or XPATH, all these things you can utilize by reading this particular quick read blog actually here. Everything with screenshots we have mentioned here, so it would be easy for you to understand those things. And any syntaxes that we are specifying here, you can directly use it as it is inside your this dollar tag. I'll show you that. So for now, let me comment all these things. Okay, I will even comment this one, everything is I'm commenting. And let's say that after going to this demo, I won't be clicking on this sign up actually. I will be going to my web table actually here. Now let's inspect this, and the text here you can see web table, right? So I can do here after going there. So let me just do one thing, come here, and here I'll just put something here, and now here I'll say await dollar, and inside this what is the text? The text is actually web table. Okay, dot click. So once I'm going to this, I'll show you one thing here. So if I go here, let's say I want to directly fetch the second row second column data. Okay, if you see here, this particular table is a straight table here which is holding lot of tr and tds. It means that first I need to identify the table, after that I need to go to the t body and then the first row. Okay, because it is my t head, so first row second column. How do I know it actually? So if you go to the selectors hub, so if I'm going for a CSS selector, so I will mark it as table, and after that what I need to do, I have two tables, so it means that I need to uniquely identify my first table where the id equal to table 01. And now if you see that it is giving only one table. After that I need to go for t body. Now t body means it will go to this t body. After this, which one I need to go? I want to go for tr. But in this case you can see this tr is having actually 3 rows actually, but I want to go for the first row actually. So what I need to do, nth child of 1, I think it starts with 1 actually. Okay, after this what I need to do, I need to go for td, but in this tr I have 5 td elements are there, but I want to go for the second one, so I will go for nth child and 2. It's simple actually, if you just need to practice a bit. Now this is actually entirely my what do you call this CSS selector. How did I go? Let me quickly finish this. First I need to go to the entire table, uniquely identifying the table here. After that the t body, immediately you can see on this t board table I have two immediate elements, one is t head and t body. My requirement is t body, that's why I have added t body. After this immediately which one is there? tr is there, right? Because I have 3 trs, I have to go to the first child actually. So the first tr element, it means that it is going to the first one. After that you see that I have 5 different td elements are there, but which one I need to go? The second one. That's why td colon nth child of 2. How do you remember this? That is what we have mentioned here. Now, like if you see here the tabular format here, and this is your cheat sheet where you can follow all the syntaxes for your XPath and CSS selector. That is how I recall it, and then I'm using. Now to prove if it works into the WebDriverIO, I will be going here. After clicking on this web table, I'll say await, and then I will say dollar, and here I will just put this particular entirety here, but here I need to give an escape sequence. So here for this what we need to do, always keep a slash here, so that this won't be treated as a separate character, a separate separate string, and then it would consider part of this entire string only. And what I need to do, dot get attribute, or maybe get text actually, directly I can do as get text. Okay, here I can do. See, why can I do a get text? Because if you see, this is coming under your td beginning and td end, so that is why the get text will work as it is only, and get text is a method, and I'm keeping here. Okay, fine then. Now let's execute this and let's see if this CSS selector and this containing or the exact text is working fine or not. So I'll run this command npm run WDIO, and then here for this let me just put some pause so that we can see that. So let me put 2 seconds and then enter. And you see web table is clicked, and now it should give me the functional as an output. And here you can see this is coming as a result of this particular big name. Actually here it is coming, and here get text. Fine, like this you can do that. And also another thing what we can do, as we are talking about this indexing right here, we have given this as a fixed indexing, but in this actually we can even change this as a variable also. Okay, we can make this one as variable, and this variable value we can assign it from outside. So that is again another benefit they are giving here. Now I will show you how to have a variable instead of a fixed text here. But before to that, let me just talk about the CSS selector. Now see, you don't need to really specify here containing, here CSS selector. Even I can use inside this dollar, I can directly use the XPATH as well. Like for an instance, let's say I'm just giving an a demo here. So await dollar, let's say that I want to identify this web table, actually this web table only. So here I will say, here inside this I will be specifying the XPath here. So I will say this one table, and I will put like this. I'll say ID equal to single quote 2, and I will say table 01, and here I will be specifying the escape sequence here like this. Now this is also correct. Only here I'm saying that using XPath, okay, and this is using my CSS selector. So using, so it means that you don't really need to specify whether you are using XPath, containing text, or exact text, or CSS selector. The WebDriverIO has that intelligence inside this particular method where they will able to identify if this is a valid syntax. Now whatever you are using inside this, if the syntax is valid, then it would consider that, and then it would identify your element. There is a catch though. You cannot use inside, let's say that I want to have a parent child relation. It means that you cannot really use like this. In this sense you cannot do like this. So here web table, okay, and then give a space and then you put it. It means that first you identify the parent element, after that you can make it as child element. You cannot do that. Anything that you're specifying inside this dollar, that will be considered as one syntax pattern only. So you cannot add a space in between, and you cannot have multiple. Though what you can do instead of this, if you want to maintain like a parent child, so if you see this particular CSS selector, right, it's a big CSS selector we are using. This one I can split it into two. I'll show you that how. So first you have to make sure that await till this one, actually till here. Now you put a quote here, now you put a dot here, and then you make like this. Okay, like this you can specify. This is a valid syntax actually here. Okay, so here you can see this is my parent one. So table is identified. Under this table you need to go this one actually. Now let's see if that is really working fine or not. We will see the CSS selector splitted one, like with a parent child, and also the XPath, whether it is working fine or not. And everything went good, and there is no other action I've specified. It just identifies. If it works fine, it will pass it. Now let's see if that particular functional is really coming or not. And here you can see it is appearing. So it means that you can have a long CSS selector pattern, or you can even split it into two also. Like this you can do it. So this is called as training the locators. Okay, so that is kind of like you can have your CSS selector, XPath, tag name. Even you can have ID and name as well. So how do you specify the ID is nothing but like let's say that let me find it out here. If I go back again to this one, sign up form, and let's say this this first name, and here if you go, there is a username, right? So here I can even specify this. You guys already know it if you are dealing with your what you call CSS selector. So in this directly I can do like this, and that is username, right? So I can specify like this also, and this is using ID. Actually here you can specify that by using the ID. And if you are using a class name, let's say, so how do you do that? So you come back here, await, and here you do that, and single quote or double quote dot any class name you can specify. I don't know if I have a, yeah, here you can see the class name. So I'll directly say this one, and this is using class name, and this is nothing but this is part of your CSS selector also. Okay, so like that you can also specify. At this moment it won't work because I have loaded the browser, what you call this, web table, right? But if I keep it here, it should work before to this part of this one. Okay, so like this also you can use it. Okay, what else are there? What are the different other features that the WebDriver is supporting? One is the tag name. So sometimes I have used a tag name h3 right here. If you see this one, let me just pull out the comment for time being. Also I can specify this one in this way also, even it takes in this way also, h3. Okay, like that also you can specify. Okay, so and so that is all about the tag name. There is an attribute called as role. I will show you that as well. So this role is very peculiar. So if you go to your, like if you see here this documentation, and if I control F and role, you can see there is a role attribute which you can use it. But there is a bit trick. I'll show you that with examples. If you go to this JavaScript link here, you can see for each and every element, web element, or each and every tag name, there is a role allocated. Like for an instance, let's say that you want to identify a link element. Now we know the right, the link element is having a tag name A. Now what is for this A, either you can specify await $a dot whatever it is there, or even you can specify this one also. So this is nothing but called as a role here. For the A tag, the role is link. In this sense, what I can do here, like in this way, if I go here, I'll say await, okay, and then $, and here I'll specify the role equal to, I'll say link. But in this case what will happen, you know, I have lot of different A tags are there, right, in my this particular registration form. Like let's say I want to go to this home screen, I want to capture all the A tags in this, or maybe inside this sign up form. Okay, here you will see 4 or 5 different links are there. So in this case, let's say that I want to capture all the links present on my HTML DOM. So here what I'm going to do, so I'll just uncomment this one, and for time being I will be keeping everything as commented only. Okay, so that it should not be executed here. Okay, so now sign up link is clicked, and now here instead of $, I will be going for $, because I need to fetch multiple role elements from there. Okay, now in this case what I can do, let's say that I want to get the size. So there is a what you call property called as length. You can see here, this is a property, this is not a method actually. Here you can see this is a property. I'll keep it inside a console.log, and let's see if it gives me proper links or not. And for time being I'll put here another, oops, sorry, it has to be inside a square bracket actually here. If you see the documentation, yeah, you can see here it gives inside a square bracket. Okay, now it should give, yeah, you can see now it gives 6 different elements are present, and it is giving the IDs as well, everything. And now if you go to this particular page, and let me go to the inspect element, and if I go to the selectors hub to prove it, and I will make it as A. Okay, it is 4. Actually, you know, there is a trick actually here. When I was looking into this role of link, so it is really not even considering the what do you call your the links as well. I'll show you that. So to prove that, what I did, I made it as Control F here, and I'm making it as like this. And here if you see that there are only 4 different A tags are there, right? But what is happening, this row link is not only identifying the A, but it is even getting the link attributes also, link tags. And you can see I have 2 link attributes. Sorry, the link tag names are also there, which is part of which is under my head tag actually there. So you can see, so that's why 4 plus 2. So what we can do actually here, maybe if you are taking any role right here, once you get that, again you can loop it inside, and how many A tags are there, you can do that. Or else, let's say that you just want to take only the links present on my page. So what you can do, instead of taking all these things, right, you can even do like this also, which will give you the exact length. Let me show you that here. Okay, and if you go here, you can see there are only 4 elements that is having the anchor tag, but 6 different elements are there using the role equal to link. That's how you will be differentiating that. Fine. Now let's try to see the other things, like one, actually I said, right, we can even enter the your variables inside your what do you call the indexes. Let's say that you are fetching certain things, but then you want to just go make it as dynamic. Actually, for an instance, let's say that I want to make this tr. Okay, this tr as my these indexes as a not a fixed strings actually, so this should be dynamic. So for this, what I'm going to do, I'll comment again these things, and this one also, and await this one also I'm commenting. So after going inside this particular demo, I will be clicking this web table for now, let's say. Okay, here I want to split this particular let's say this one, actually here I want to do. So for sure, table 1, there is nothing to have an index, but here I have something indexing here, right? So what I can do here, instead of making in this way, I'll create one quick utility method actually here. So let's say that I will make it as locators.ts, or any name that you can give. This is a simple utility method I will be keeping here. Let's say class, and I will make it as locators, and this is a oops concept of the TypeScript. It's very easy to understand. Let's say I want to make a particular method actually here. So let's say get table data, let's say that. Okay, I'm making a method, and inside this I'm keeping 2 things. One is the row index, and I will make it as column index. 2 things I'm sending here inside this method. Now here what I'm going to do, and this is a very good feature into the Selenium, that I can use this $sign anywhere on my framework into the WebDriverIO, sorry. So here what I need to do, I will be copy pasting this entire thing which I used here, and I will be entering here. Okay, so no need to worry about that, it just went everything. So here I'll make it as a return, and then no this one, and that's it. Okay, now instead of making this 1 and 2, right, what I'm going to do, and this is very important, keep this in mind. So here I will be making a dollar here, and curly brackets. Inside this I will be keeping the variable name, actually that one which I got it from there actually. Okay, the same thing I'll make it here column index. inside this, but it has to be dollar and then like this. Okay, fine. Now like this I need to do. So in this case what will happen, when it starts with dollar and closing brackets, right, this will be considered as my variable which is coming from here, and the same thing column index is coming here. Okay, and on this particular class I need to export it so that it can be accessible. So there is a way, export default and the object of that. That's it, as simple as that. That's how actually the methods can be accessible by using the class name. And now let's go to my test case here. I need to import that particular locator actually for that particular class here, so that it can be accessible. So here I will say import, okay, and I will say locators, okay, from where actually, so I need to give the location, locators. That's it. So here if you do this one, then you can utilize that. So in this I will just append this one into this particular locators so that it will become a part of that particular element, actually get table data from this table 01 and all these things. So here what I'm going to do now, this becomes very easy. So I'll say await locators dot, and I will say get table data, and inside this I will be specifying 1.2. and now because this get table data returns me a particular web table, a web element, I can really do get text actually, and let's see if this works fine or not. So control tilt, and then I will be rerunning the same npm run WDIO. Okay, so there is some problem. Let's see what is the problem. And if you see that it is telling that invalid selector. Okay, oh, okay, so I missed one point there actually. So the thing is that it is taking considered as the entire string, right? So if you see that this is not appearing as a variable rather than part of your syntax only. So the WebDriverIO, to differentiate that, instead of single quote they are suggesting to have a tilt actually here, and the same thing here also. Now you see it is evaluating to this variable. So this is again an important thing that you need to kind of keep remembering actually. So instead of single quote you need to keep the tilt sign here. Now it should evaluate properly. So if I go npm run WDIO, and now it should give me the proper result. Yes, it passed. And as you can see here, now you can change anything here. You can just pass 2 to 3 to whatever it is, that the row index and column index, and you can perform the actions. Even I will give you one more situation. Let's say that you have multiple text boxes are there. Let's see here, if you see that there are like multiple text boxes are there, you just wanted to go by index. Let's say first text box, second text box. So what you can do, you can use this particular syntax here. I'll show you that. So if you go, I'll create another one actually. So in this class, let's say I'll create another method, get text box index. Okay, and here I will put the indexes or passing the parameter as that. Now inside this what I can do, return dollar, and here I will be specifying the tilt actually this time. And then I will say, let's say I want to go for the XPATH, because the before one I have went for the CSS selector. So like this, and I will say input. Now when I say input, it goes with multiple input elements, right? But here I will be saying that @ type equal to text. Okay, I'll go like this, and here I need to specify the escape sequence here. But this gives me like multiple elements, right? but with dollar I cannot keep like this because I have got multiple text boxes. So what I need to do here, I can have that indexing. You guys know that, right? So this is giving me that multiple elements here. So what I will do here, I'll keep this into a bracket so that it evaluates to multiple text boxes. After that I will give an index actually here, 1 2 3 I can give. So that is what I'm going to do. So I'll keep it as like this, curly brackets, index, and you can see it is evaluating. Now let me keep it into proper standard, and then to call this one, let's say that I want to call in this particular selectors test. And what I can do here, for sure here it is not possible. Let's say here I want to do, I'll say await dollar, and sorry, not dollar, actually locators dot, and I will say get text box by index, and I will be keeping, let's say 1, and dot set value. Let's say I want to set something here. Now let's say I want to give QAB box. Even I can deal with this one also. Let me show you real quick if this works fine or not. So for this, actually I will be removing this one, and let's turn on this sign up page. So there it will be finding out this particular, what you call, text box, all the text boxes, and then it will go to the index one. Let's see, I'm thinking it should start from 0. So let's see which text box it is sending the value. And you can see the first text box, that is the full name, QAB box is entered. So like that, indexing also you can do it, and you can use your own utility methods, and you can use it in this. So these are actually the mainly different types of what you call your locator strategies that you can use it with your dollar, double dollar, by using different syntaxes. Okay. So hope this particular session is helpful. Now we know how to identify these locators. In our upcoming session, we will be quickly discussing about the page object model which got created by as a default while installing this WebDriverIO. Then the subsequent sessions we will see what are the different browser actions we have, and how do we perform all the testing on the browser. Okay, so stay tuned and do subscribe to this YouTube channel. Thank you for watching.